All right, guys, welcome in. Welcome back to Above Ground World News. We're live. We made it to Friday night. Well, most of us made it. Now, down in the Bahamas, not so lucky. Yeah, we'll get into all that. Anyway, guys, we got tons of stuff to get into, and we're going to also try to bring Billy Hayes back in here. I'm going to call him here in a little while after I get through some of this information, and we'll see if he answers the phone. Anyway, we're taking a look at the Morse microwave imagery. We're looking over here. This is Dorian right here. This is the other hurricane. But what we notice is this thing is kind of blinking, like it's blinking off and on like a light, and it's not coinciding with the sun or the day time heating. It's something else, and we're going to get into that here in just a minute. We got so much stuff to get into here. Let's just hit a couple headlines. Bahamas officials warn people to prepare for the unimaginable as hurricane death toll rises. Now, literally hundreds or up to thousands of people are still missing. Body bags, additional morticians, refrigerated coolers to store the bodies are being transported. I mean, this is unimaginable stuff going on down here. And if you know where I sit, I know, this was not no Mother Nature storm. Somebody needs to be accountable for this. Here's another one. People are shooting each other over food and water. Bahamas Hurricane Dorian death toll will be staggering. Thousands still missing as bodies pile up. Militias are formed to stop looting. I mean, it's bad. I know we got somebody out there in the chat right now that's in the Bahamas right now on a generator. And then you got the, all the different ecological destruction down here. So you had the roof of an oil storage tank has been ripped off, and we have major spillage out in the ocean. So it's going to be another big mass die off. Forgot to turn the sound off on that. So major oil spill on top of all the destruction, and everybody being killed. Then here in Florida, we got the sky turns purple after Hurricane Dorian. Now, to me, this is caused, they say it's the refraction of the light. To me, this is the leftover plasma in the sky mixed in with the Sahara dust and the chemtrails and the barium and the strontiums. Now, this is insane. This is really insane right here. Listen to Hurricane Dorian's furious roar as heard by I can't talk right now. So we're going to check this out here. I got it up on here. You can find this stuff here at the Incorporated Research Institutions for Seismology. You can click all kinds of different things, but check this out. This is insane. This right here tells me, this is definitely a weapon. This is not a normal hurricane whatsoever. When you hear this, it's going to blow your mind. So here we go. Pretty insane, wasn't it? That is just unbelievable right there. In fact, we're going to have to get Billy's thoughts on that here when I give him a call. So I want to go over a couple things here. Hurricane and Tornado Control Device, U.S. Patent 200-385-296-A1. The method is to close for affecting the formation and or direction of low atmospheric weather systems. Audio generators are positioned to project sound waves towards a spherical area of the weather system. The sound waves are generated to a frequency to affect the formation of the weather system in a manner to disrupt, enhance, or direct the formation, to steer it. The sound waves can also be projected in a manner to cause the system to produce rain. You know, we're always talking about they can steer the hurricanes, they can steer the tornadoes, they can create them. The technology is really not as advanced as people think. Here's another one. U.S. Patent Application Publication. Weather management using space-based power systems. RF tracking beam storm path. This is kind of like what Billy Hayes was talking about last night. Space-based power system. Method of altering weather using spaceborne energy. The space-based power system maintains proper positioning and alignment of the system components with using connecting structures. Power system elements are launched into orbit. The free-floating power system elements are maintained in proper relative alignment, position, orientation, shape using a control system. Energy from the space-based power system is applied to the weather element, such as a hurricane, and alters the weather element to weaken or disrupt the weather element. The weather element can be altered by changing a temperature, a section of the weather element, such as the eye of a hurricane, changing airflows, or changing path of the weather element. This was August 25th, 2011. Pretty insane. Now, Billy Hayes actually sent me this. Hurricane surveillance, and you can get, I'm going to go into this just on a video on its own, or we'll have him go over this with us. But this has the project Storm Fury and all the different projects that they did on the hurricanes, like back Hurricane Inez, September 28th, 1966. I mean, it's got tons of them in here. All the information on how to control the hurricane, Storm Fury. So, you know, people say this isn't going on, man. We got so much proof that it is, and has been. It has been for a long time. You have to ask yourself, why did they not evacuate the Bahamas? You know, China's done it. India's done it. You know, Japan does it all the time. Every time they have a hurricane come in, they can evacuate millions of people. Why didn't they evacuate them? Now, here's another real old article, but it's pretty interesting. The Malaysia Times, cloud seeding resumes today. This is March 15, 2014. The cloud seeding duty is expected to resume today as the National Security Council has recalled a Hercules plane from the MH370 search and rescue operations. So one of the planes that were out there that was searching for the missing MH370 was a chemtrail plane, a cloud seeding C-130. They needed it back to spray the sky. This stuff has been going on forever, man. I can't believe people can't believe this. And somebody sent this through me through the email, and I forgot to write down the name. Look at the flight path on this. Comes up out of Lakeland, Florida, flies up around Jacksonville, and flies all around the hurricane, all over the place. I don't know what this black line represents. Just, you know, I don't think this was the hurricane hunter's plane, but what the heck is going on with this flight path. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in real far. You know, we had so many aerosols being deployed on the southern sector of Dorian and the northeastern section, exactly where the hurricane was headed. Now, just a couple articles here real quick. This is just a weird article, man. My wife and I have a lot of chickens, but check this out. Trans feminist vegan group releases pro chicken video where the hens are separated by roosters who rape them without consent. This is nuts, man. What kind of world are we living in now? How is this guy still alive? Soros spends nearly $9 million lobbying new targets to guns. He wants to make the gun companies liable for criminal acts by third parties. How is this guy still walking? Bernie Sanders says population control would be part of his climate agenda. That's right. Human population growth has more than doubled in the past 50 years. The planet cannot sustain this growth. I realize this is a poisonous topic for politicians, but it's crucial to face. Oh, man. So he does it, you know, not only by the New World Order and the DNA and, you know, the pro-murder, you know, all that stuff. Just crazy, man. This is where we are at right now. The U.S. air qualities of improvement. Just clean up, then you got to, you know, get rid of all the 5G and the LED stuff. Nothing that they do or give us is good for us. Just a quick look. Look at the Sahara dust. That's like, you know, 1,000-mile straight line. Almost looks like a square. I mean, look at it. It goes on. Do you think that is natural? Sound waves? Something is blocking that. We'll let this play through. Hey, that's right. You know, you million subscribers. No way, no how. Yeah, look at that, man. Showing that what they can do with their, you know, they can cut a huge cloud swath. Just insane, man. So we got more waves of this dust coming. There shouldn't have been ever no hurricane out here. You know, that's the thing. When we did the 16-day forecast, there should not have been any tropical development. And somehow, I mean, even the mainstream was saying that. And somehow, overnight, there was a huge dust just disintegrated. And what was really strange is that the hurricane didn't suck the dust into it like all the other ones around here. It stayed away. It was like being repelled out away from it. And you know, they just parked the hurricane over a landmass and completely destroyed it. You know, I'm sure there's many reasons why they did. The people are just the people need to wake up to what's going on. Let me see if I can get a hold of Billy and see if we can bring him on the show and let him expand on what I just showed you guys. So let me see if I can dial out here. You know, he's a mound of information, way more than what I know. So let's bring on the expert. Do we have you, brother? Can you hear it? I'll give him a minute or two and then we'll try to call him back. Chinese, you know, whatever it was there, the military. This is always multifaceted. This could have just been, you know, giving China or whoever the middle finger, but also creating the climate chaos, but also setting the new norm for now on. Category 5, probably everyone. I think, you know, to me, Dorian was just like Hurricane Michael. It was a weapon. In fact, every one is. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. We'll give him a minute to get the Magic Jack plugged back in. And we'll take a quick look at the bunker fuel operations. You know, they pretty much quit since these hurricanes over here off the west coast out here in the Pacific. Now, we do have a weird anomaly that looks like ship tracks somewhere in here. I got to find the right layer. Wow, that's weird. I'm not seeing it now. So right down where the down here by South America, yeah, there they are. So we got a brand new ship operation down here. Bunker fuel being deployed all over. You know, they're getting ready to have this crazy engineered heat wave all the way over in Australia. And now we have bunker ships being deployed, man. Before every kind of disaster, we're seeing these, you know, tanker ships out there just loading the skies up. No, we're all good. He's all good. He's in the hospital, man. So it's like, you know, it's not that easy doing a live show in the hospital. So, yeah, we'll just kind of check out some stuff here on the worldview map, and then I'll try them again here in a minute. And we can see the aircraft are still deploying. There's still the hell's going on. Why are they still seeding the storm? Hey, thanks out there, Doug. And thanks out there, Teresa, Cindy, Lee, and Bamboo for helping us there on the PayPal. Yeah, PayPal is a little better than the Super Chat because I found out a while back when I raised the money for Tony that Super Chat takes like 30%, man. It's ridiculous. Like Google's just killing it, man. They're wiping us out. Look at this crazy sprays and frequency lines. I mean, none of this stuff is normal, man. This is all synthetic, man-made terraforming of the planet. Let's go take a look over here. Germany's getting waxed right now. Parts of France. They got like the super grid going on. Still spraying up around Iceland. We have super thick, heavy duty chemtrails up here. Just tons of air. And see if he's got it working yet. I'll try him on the phone line. I know you're listening, Billy, so we'll bear in there with you. So let's give this a shot.
Well, hello. I've been trying to get back to you.
All right, there he is. Yeah, I figure
Hello?
you're loud and clear. Just stay on there. We'll let the audio catch up here. But yeah, you're coming in good and clear there, Billy.
Okay. Well, I'll take us goodbye then.
Yeah, you're good. Here, let me, I'm just going to turn the audio up a little bit. Maybe you just can't hear me real well. Okay, that's turned up.
Hear you fine right now.
All right, good. We're good to go then.
It's the interference that gets in there. Okay, let's do it.
All right, brother. You got the floor, brother. So did you see that, the sound?
Well, howdy.
Did you see the seismic signals from the hurricane? I don't even want to call it a hurricane because it's something else.
Well, I heard that oscillation of noise. What that is static and everything electrically as it went by. And like we explained last night, a hurricane is a big electric generator, motor, and it's making all sorts of electrical noise. Don't hum. It's got snap, crackle, and pop. Well, they're running a tape of that, is worth, into a tape where it's picking up every little chirp, every little burp, every little bump. So that's what you're hearing is all these, not only the congruent noise, which is more like a background of lightning and stuff is coming in, but what what we call that?
I was thinking
A
kind
plank that comes off that.
of like
Try
a
to get it in here.
reverb the ionosphere or the crust or something that
We're actually hearing it's a hurricane. It's every time a band swings past that normal area, they'll make a burp because there's so much noise in that travel, electrical noise in that travel. That's what they're picking up across the antenna. So you're hearing that what a hand would hear if you recorded it and then fast speeded it forward. That's what you're hearing. All that noise, and concerns is the noise level. You can hear as it's going up the side of the state of Florida how loud it gets. It dies out for a while. That's when it turned. If you notice, they got it on a map where it is during that noise timeline, and they just speed it up. So you're really not hearing what the hurricane sounds like. You're hearing the hurricane at what it would sound like if it went 1,000 times faster.
right
You're squeezing
hours
5 days
and
into
hours.
5 minutes.
Yeah, like in a minute.
So that compression is, that compression of sound takes it into a different audio frequency. In fact, it's almost out of audio frequency. You're actually listening to things above 20 and 30 kilohertz. So that's just outside. A lot of the noise is just outside the hearing range of people. If you had a dog and you're playing that, they ain't gonna like you.
Yeah.
Because your dog is going to hide from you. If he don't,
Yeah, almost like
remember, we're in these days now when, let's control the dog.
yeah, mind control with the frequency.
Yeah. Well, that dog might just turn on a mean mind all of a sudden, and you might have done it. You take a kid out. Here's a kid out of school. Tell him to bring his cell phone with him, and put his girlfriend down the street where they can look at each other. They're within eyesight of each other. You think that kid's going to get up and walk down to that girl? Heck no, he's going to dial her up and start texting her. After that, he'll be walking all over town. He'll be walking all over town.
Yep, that's how they
They're
work.
being controlled.
Did you hear about
They're totally under control.
They're using sound
Did I hear
weapons.
what?
They're using sound weapons in
You cut out.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, they're using sound weapons in Pennsylvania to keep kids out of the park. They use a frequency that most adults can't hear, but it just blasts, the young kids, and they keep them out of the park with, tons of frequency or sound weapons using frequencies. I reported on that just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I told. Well, even with MK Ultra back in the '60s, they were playing with that ideal. Kathy O'Brien underwent intensive audio treatments. She was in terrible shape.
Yeah, that last night you were talking about using the old TVs to fight the RF signaling. Could you expand on that a little bit? There's a lot of people asking about that.
Okay, I don't want to get anybody in trouble because this is the FCC outlawed this many years ago. But what was happening was, since the TV are high voltage flyback is at I think it's 455 kilohertz. Since it's at that frequency, it interferes with all basic IF frequencies. You fire that up through the anode that little thing that plugs into the top of the picture tube, take that to a long wire, 42 feet, 2 1/4 inch on insulators. You have to put both ends on the insulator. You cut that 42 in half, so you got 26, no, half of 42 is 21 feet and 1 inch from the middle. You make a bow tie. You put one half of that wire, and you use the other half of the wire as a ground plane. Otherwise, it's just sitting out there empty. That wire will pick up that high voltage outside. You got to lay it between two trees. When the one wire fires, since the other wire is the exact same length, when it reaches its harmonic frequency, it will fire, and the recoil of that fire will go through the free swinging other half of that wire that's tied between like two trees that are 50 feet apart. And you got this insulator in the middle that separates the half point of both those two wires. And one wire gets the anode that's coming off that TV set. That is an antenna, what we call a pulse antenna, at 21 feet and 1 inch. When one fires, the recoil on it, just like in your the old distributor on your car, has a recycle and makes a pulse, it's a ringing pulse, and it fires back into the other wire. And they sit there and swap back and forth, back and forth. As that wire charges up again, it'll reach that point where it fires again, the resonant frequency of that piece of wire with the other piece of wire. And it will start pulsing at a rate of approximately 3 times, which gives it a pulse for 4 hertz. You can't call it a frequency because it's a pulse, you understand? And that pulse is of a length, a duration that is corresponds to how much insulation is being in between the two pieces of wire at the center. And it's such a simple antenna. It's such a simple hookup. But at the same token, while the TV's plugged in,
oh yeah,
you're playing about 25,000 volts on the last models of these colored TVs and stuff. When they came out, that's what the problem was. With 20 to 35,000 volts raster of that TV, it was all the new communication ware that they were coming out, which included the cell phones, the communications. It was jamming up all the frequencies of the VHF, and all these UA were jamming up all the frequencies. Back in the late 70s, the government came up with money to move all the dishes, the microwave dishes that were up. That were, the police were using microwave to set up their stations. The EMS was using microwave to set up their stations. All these businesses were using microwave between their head station, their control station, and their transmitter station. They were all utilizing microwave communications up on the 450 to 800 megahertz band. Well, they needed that band for all the interlinking of the new cell phone systems that were going in. Then in the late 70s into the 80s, they decided, oh man, we're going to have to move them again. We have to move all this stuff off the bands, these bands that telephone systems are going to need. So that's where the 2.800 to 2.2 and above. Well, 2.5. There was some fives getting in there too. But that the first of the gigahertz is where they started having your wireless keyboards, your modems with Wi-Fi in it. All that was starting to move up into the 2 gigahertz. And all your cell phones were coming out. Came on board, the first of your digital. All that was new frequencies. They had to put up new antennas. They had to move all this communication stuff. And then they moved all the TVs off their normal frequencies. Now all you're combined into one area of the frequency band, whereas they're crammed in here. They're separated by digital information. Pieces of that station are all over the place. It isn't exactly a frequency anymore. It is a bandwidth. And there's pieces of each station floating around in there, of each station that comes together with the magic of digital ciphering to make up your picture, your audio, everything. So now, all of a sudden one day, the government comes up and says, you are no longer going to be able to watch TV on the old TVs. You'll have to have a box to make your TV work, or be on the cable. I mean, overnight, they changed the whole world around us. All of a sudden, we had these new TVs coming out, and in one day, they tell you you're going to have this.
Yeah, I remember when all that.
You have by this date.
I remember when all that come out, and now we have the 5G, the millimeter waves, which is going to affect the radars and all that. So they're going to have to put up even more antennas. I mean, it's just going to.
Well, people are taking that a little bit too far. It isn't really the change of frequency. Yeah, we are going to have some changes in frequency, but that is what the 5G is about. Layer of information each time. It's just like when you had Windows 98 operating system.
Right.
You only had to have a hard disk that only had maybe 200 megabytes. Then they came out with what was that? 2000?
Yeah, XP, Windows 2000, XP.
Well, there was 2000, and then there was XP came out after 2000. Each one of these operating systems used up more and more information just for the operating system, so they had to increase the amount of memory on each hard disk that was running that machine. When you download for the new Windows 10, you have to have at least 500 gigabytes of hard disk, because half that hard disk is used for the actual operating system. The other half records everything that's done on that machine. It does not. That other part does not get erased unless you have the proper application that will go back and wipe that side of the disk off. That's where people get in trouble. They think they erase everything. No. There's always the other side of the disk. But anyways, well, I'm telling you some secrets that the government won't tell you.
Yeah. That's what we like.
And they're not really secrets. It's all there. It's just we're so blimey that we don't know. Here comes a load of nurses in. Hi.
I can go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I'm on the air. But then it was, I'm worried about them giving me like they did last night. They came in here, they wanted me to be, so they came in and stuck me with a needle before I could move away, and that's why I was got so dosed. But I ain't got my back to them tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, they're queued up here. They come in here and just stick you anytime they want you.
Just finishing.
Might bring me back on top.
You were talking about the Windows operating systems, how they keep, for the new backside of the hard drive, and then I think we were just finishing up with that. You need to just roll wherever you want to go,
Yeah.
brother.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, all this information, all this changes in our world was for this. Now they have control of everything in our lives, because now everything is digitally recorded. Your blood type is trying to get their DNA to find out part of. That ain't what the game is. The game is to figure out who your family was, family into the future. They can tell you what type of people your family's going to be like down the next 4 or 5 generations ahead of you. They can go back and find out crimes that have been committed by maybe your cousin, because you've got that DNA that they can relate to. You understand? We're living in a world now that is totally controlled, which means also our weather. And this is what we were getting at last night, is how these hurricanes are being controlled. A hurricane is the biggest generator on this earth. It has more electrical power than any other object on this earth. When it's out there twirling, not only is a motor that's being controlled, because it's piping for. It's of energy from our Earth to the positive side, which is our atmosphere. And it runs that motor. It gives it the heat, the energy to correspond to the pulses that the Earth is giving off. And we have learned how to enter by making pulses that are similar to the motor needs to be adapted to via the magnetosphere. Everybody does loops going around the Earth, but the Earth is rotating. Those lines that exist, our bodies are adapted to that energy. We too, with all the material that's in our body, all the iron that's in our body, our blood, the flux field of the magnetosphere. We accept energy from, you take your shoes off, you're grounded. You're a better antenna. Now that sounds far out, but it's real.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Same thing with the hurricanes. Chemicals. They have metal conductive metals in it, nano particulates in it. They move together. They act as a wire, as one of the they can trace behind it as the band moves counterclockwise. Whiskers come off, and they're going the opposite direction. They're little streaks, conductors of electrical energy that are cutting through the magnetosphere, the magnetic fields of flux, that's the south magnetism of the poles. Therefore, if you make more hurricane, if you have more possibility on that, you can drop dry ice or silver iodine, which causes instantaneous compression of these particles to find each other, come together and make a superconductor with every hurricane, making it more conductive and more of a generator, or to make that hurricane even more feasible for their use. Does that make sense to you now?
Oh yeah, it definitely does, and you can see it. I mean, like they don't even try to hide it. It's just their eyes and watch that this stuff that we're watching is not natural whatsoever. I mean, it defies all the. I mean, it's plain as day.
Now, when you come off from a land base, you will find where they laid out chemtrail, it starts turning into chem clouds. It still maintains those streaks that are in there. And when one wire over another wire in a flux field, it makes a harmonic bump. And this harmonic bump is a relationship of the length of whiskers that were on to that band. Other chem clouds that are out there, they have stringers in it. It's like having two windings on a motor, on an electric motor. Now you've got an AC motor and a DC motor that's able to maintain a hurricane. You've got the natural hurricane that was always there, but now you have the man-made portion of that hurricane that they're trying to figure out how in the hell to use. Oh, excuse me.
No, you're good.
I didn't mean to curse.
Oh no, it's fine.
But I get upset about it too. You know, I apologize to people. People have to understand. I was involved in the making of all this crap that they built, and I didn't even know it. I thought, I was convinced I was doing something for the country. Yeah, if you can put ice in that, I sure appreciate it. My cup while ago, and it just dribbled down in front of me. I look like a hurricane that got loose. But anyways, where was I?
You were talking about how
I got interfered with here, and I lost my track.
You were talking about how you didn't know, you were saying you were involved in the weather or the making of some of these weather weapons, but you thought it was for the good. I think that's what's happening a lot with they don't.
No, when we talk about what's happening on chemtrails, pilots have no idea. They're getting out there chemtrails from us. They've been seeing chemtrails up there. They thought it was normal. It's these old jocks who can't see no more, who aren't supposed to even fly, should have been saying. Now those guys were part of the system. They were scared to talk. The old guys. That's the guys you want to talk to. This didn't used to be skies like this. And these young kids that became pilots after the 60s, they were seeing it common thing. By the time they got old enough to take flying lessons, there was chemtrails up there. Then to them it was just a regular day there. It's just normal happening. You go up to a kid today and tell them, do you know what those are? Oh yeah, those are just airplanes flying around. Number one, they don't care cell phone. Never since they were born. It's just common.
Yeah, that's
jackheads like me and old people that bring it out and say, listen people, this is not what it's when I was young too, but a contrail. These are not some of these old farts out and saying, you're trying to change the world. You're just making trouble. No, we're not making trouble. I feel bad that I had participated in wild, genius scientists these mad scientists wanting to put their name on something. You know, it's like if you find a star group up in the sky, you name it after yourself or something, and you made history. Your name will never go away. You will always be remembered. Well, I'll be remembered as the guy that opened his mouth and told the truth.
Right on. That's what we need. We need more.
Work with. It's gone. It's gone. They're gone. They're dead. They died young. I didn't. I should have. I was told I was going to die because I blew off part of my leg. I was sitting on the antenna. They turned the transmitter on Hart. And two of my guys, one of them died. It took a chunk out of my leg.
Yeah.
I mean, a big chunk. Black spot off of my AM tower. Between my knee and my hip. It's gone. They had to go in and debride it. Take all the burnt meat out. They had to pull ligaments out of my muscle and ligaments out of my stomach and rebuild my leg.
Wow.
They had to put steel, what did they call a replacement bone in my leg, in my arm. $6 million man came out. Hell, I think I got about 10 mil in me.
Yeah, it's amazing what the body can.
Speaker to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
I got an RFD in my skin after an operation.
Oh man.
I went to a vet. I was very suspicious of it, and I asked the vet, I've been hurting up in this area. Could you take that reader over there and go over a couple times? Guess what? I had an RFD bag in my shoulder, where they worked on my shoulder.
Wow.
It was pushed up underneath the socket. And I asked him to cut it out, and he said he couldn't do it. He said, "Sam,
So you're saying it's still in there?
if he cut it out, he'd go to prison forever." No, I got it out. I had a bullet wound, but I got the doctors to pull it out and put it off the side, put it in a vial, and it was gone. Buried that sucker. And guess what? I went back to check on it 10 years later, and it was gone.
They tracked it.
Someone tracked it and found it and then took it back. You have to remember, this was 15 years ago. Oh, that's good talking about you. Yeah, I sent that to you. You're looking at, am I seeing? I'm not sure I'm on the right page with you.
Oh yeah, I did. I was showing the
Cool.
PDFs and stuff. Yeah, I'm on the worldview map right now. Yeah, I kind of been scrolling up and down through that PDF you sent me on the hurricane surveillance. That way, if anybody wants to stop, pause it, and read it.
I hope you read.
I'm definitely going to read all this stuff.
I hope you give that. I'm trying to pass on before they tell these little things that I know about. Now, everybody's been printing out whatever they find. Here's what I've run into. I can tell you the truth, but by the time someone else passes what I said on, it's going to change. They're going to add things to it and sensationalize it, make it more than I said it was. Oh, there's that. You were wondering why that airplane was flying. Whoa, back up a little bit.
Get it back on the.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Where do you want me back at?
Okay, you just went. Okay, back it down up to. I can't tell what page you're on.
I'm on page 69.
It was about 3 pages back where it was showing the configuration of
Oh yeah, they're right
the
there.
aircraft fly and why. How they centralize. So they centralize the point of these triangles the wrong way. Well, there's another one right there.
Yeah, here's one.
of how they flew and why.
Yeah, I also had a.
This will explain all this questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Billy. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
You have to remember when these hurricane hunters started flying, they were scared as hell. No one had ever flown into a hurricane. They didn't even know if they had an aircraft. What the torment that a hurricane could put on an aircraft. The intent of design was there, but they didn't know these hurricanes. It's astounding. These aircraft are being taken to their limit. Once they're retired, they get them or put them on a platform and they're not safe to use as an airplane once they get away from being hurricane hunters.
Yeah, they actually had to turn one back around from Dorian because they got a busted windshield from, who knows what. That's why they didn't report the actual winds on that forecast, because they didn't have the information, because they didn't have a plane out there. They had to turn around and go get a different plane.
Wow. But did I explain the antenna and the old TV set good enough for you guys?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that helps a lot. So that yeah, a lot of people were asking about that. I haven't got to go back and listen to it, the first one yet. I had to work pretty hard today. So
the trick is a 42 and 2 inch and a half. I always go 3/4. What the hell? And a half. And you cut that in half and give you 21 1
and 1/4
on each half, and 1/4. And then you put insulators on both ends and an insulator in the middle, so the two ends in the middle don't meet. You hang that up maybe 20 feet. You want it up high enough that, number one, nobody's going to come by with a whip antenna or a piece of steel and reach up there and hit it, because it's going to knock their can on the ground. Once you fire this thing up, that thing builds up so much capacitance that when it does fire, it snaps. You'll hear a buzz. It'll be going tat 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 tat.
Yeah, a lot of bolts.
As it discharges, because it fires. Right, when that one side fires off, makes up a full charge. When it fires, it recoils into the other wire, and then the other wire makes a ripple on it. It just sits there, and it does what they call ringing. Then the antenna wire builds up again, fires, and it continues to make this other one pulse back and forth, and it adds up. Every time this one fires, because it reached a full charge, it starts doubling on top of what's left on the other wire. Now this creates an interference and uses up all that space. When you get 1,000 of these in a couple miles, you basically have put up a bubble along that path of where all this transmitters are. You have it in a circle like a bunch of cow wagons on a wagon train. When the Indians come around, you will have a full-fledged bubble of protection. And guess what? They kind of made a couple TV programs like this. I think it was called The Dome.
Wow.
You remember that?
I think I remember hearing something about that. I got a bad memory.
You need to look those movies up and watch them, because even though it's fictional, once again, for some reason, these movies, these programs like that, follow a trait of truth. I mean, HARP was talked about for years before anybody else knew about it. They were making movies about this electronic gizmo that was able to pulse and knock things out of the sky. And you have to remember, these were experiments. The conclusion on these experiments, I don't know. Eastland didn't even know. We were the people who were putting these pieces together for the government. The test results weren't privy to us.
Yeah, you can bet they got that in some quantum computer.
And what information we did get was second hand, third hand, and fourth hand down the road. And like I've told everybody, unless I put my hands on it, unless I've seen it, or I heard from someone who was there that I worked with, then I don't know for sure that it's a fact. What I talk about are things that I know for sure, or some things that they were trying to do, that they were said to have, oh, we have accomplished this. Well, the question was, what were you trying?
Right.
Oh, it worked. Well, it worked.
Yeah.
We were compromised in the fact we couldn't talk to each other about it. They didn't want us putting these clues together. And until the internet came around, these old boys like me really didn't know what they'd been doing. They knew that portion of it. You know, I knew all about the antennas. I knew about transmission lines. The guy inside knew about computers. He knew about pulse rates and stuff like that. And everybody keeps on talking about frequency. It's not the frequency, people. It's the pulse rate. How many pulses per minute they use this frequency. They were playing with frequencies that they wanted to because they were of frequencies that were in the skip. Do you remember what skip was? Talking on CB?
Right.
Well, if you have that frequency, when you have that frequency, you utilize in an area that was the best area for skip. Half of 27 megahertz is what? Well, bingo, guess what? That's some of the frequencies, government frequencies, that they're using on HARP. And they don't use just one set of frequencies. At Gakona, we put up 5 different antenna systems for 5 different types of testing. And all communication was done via hardline, telephone. Because it was so secret, so classified. The stuff that was secret and classified that never got talked about never went on the air. But they had to make a accepted reason why the system was there. And that is where
Yep.
was said about the experimentation of such, and that's how they pushed the eye, got started.
Yeah, it's been up there a lot longer than what they say.
But now they use that technology. It's turned to fully done their testing. The Navy's done their testing. DARPA, but these colleges are going to. And take note, there are physics classes on HARP technology in every college in the United States. In fact, you go overseas, and there are classes overseas on HARP technology. Physics. You're making me dizzy watching. So
Oh, I know.
it doesn't watch.
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
But people, once again, I have lived a little more than 20 years becoming a civilian because of one woman in my life, and they took her too.
Yeah, that's
That
sad.
woman, she taught me that what I was doing was not right. She didn't tell me it was wrong, But my engagement with these people was not right. And she hid me out for the last 20-some years. And then when the internet became pliable to me, and my friends that I had known doing this were just dropping like flies for no reason at all, or just disappearing off the face of this earth. And some of the scientists that I knew were disappearing everywhere. I mean, every person I knew down in Florida that was part of that machine, they're gone. Weird. They don't exist no more. You can look up their names, and even their names disappear. That's like where I'm at right now. My name is getting washed away slowly. I'm disappearing. I don't have an address. I don't have a phone number. I'm not supposed to have this phone. But they don't consider this a phone. I mean, for a year I was laying under the covers with a tablet, trying to get back on the air.
Well, I'm glad
they finally gave up trying to stop me. They finally gave up trying to stop me because the nurses want to hear. Yeah. They want to hear what I say sometimes.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad we got you on here. I mean, you know, you can speak freely, and whatever you need to get off your mind, you know, you can come on anytime.
Well, my problem is I have to be careful where I talk. You have to remember, I'm in a soldier's home. There's some of these killers here that never left the war, and they're upset. They think I'm a traitor. There's that one I was telling you about. Hurricane Inez. You were asking questions about it. You see the triangles in it?
Yeah, I think you must.
And you were asking earlier.
Yeah, you must be way ahead of me or way behind me on my screen, because I've been off that for a while. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have the audio turned up. In fact, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah,
I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the fires going on and the spraying operations going on over in California right now. But yeah,
well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about these fires out there real quick. Want to?
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay, when you take past history of our atmosphere, our lower atmosphere, it was we talk about smog in the big city, coming out of the mountains, locked in between mountains, and this stuff just locks down in these valleys, and people walk around choking. They got a rating on what type of air you're breathing today. Well, they tried to clean that up, and you know, all this money went for non-leaded gas, and oh my God, there were so many things that they had us jumping through loops for. Then they turn around and come out with an atmosphere full of metallics that they throw down, and in the process, when all these new compounded particulates mix with some of the old black stuff, the result is you're developing number one, a silicon-based electronics. When you take lithium and you take aluminum and you throw some crystals into it, silicon crystals into this, it blows up, you know, and gets in the dust, and it gets up. You have developed everything to make a semiconductor in the air. You throw some oil up there and some diesel fluid and some kerosene, and now you have thermite.
Exactly.
Not only do you have thermite, you have nanothermite, super thermite. This comes down in the air, and some of it settles back to the earth. The dirty stuff. The clean stuff stays up there.
Right.
In fact, the real fine stuff continues until it cannot mandate I was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
Trying to plug up the holes in the ionosphere. It comes in from underneath. Now you got stuff falling on top that's put into these sounding rockets, and it comes together, and everywhere there's a hole, you just patched up the ionosphere. Kinda.
Yeah, temporarily.
Then you have to make a charge. Right. Well, now who cares about that? Now they found out through the Hart technology over the years that they don't have to use the ionosphere. If they have a conductive atmosphere below that, then you can use the lower atmosphere. And you don't have to have long wavelengths. You can use wavelengths more than once now. You can bounce 20 times all the way across the Pacific Ocean and maintain either communications or a weapon of destruction. Because now you got ship trails down there, the water is conductive to the point that the ferrous octopulses. And if you can move, then you can make tidal waves, wave distribution. Wow. If you can change currents, you can change the whole weather base. If you can change currents, you can change food sources. And if you have nanothermite that's pushed up against slips, and I don't think most people realize that,
Well,
ship tracks
we're learning
are
right
low
now.
clouds. They are compared to aluminum. Lithium clouds or trails, and they do form into clouds, by the way, lower clouds, cannot come into the coastline and go over the mountains. So they're trapped. Trails have a problem getting to the ground, but when they mix with the dirty, it's heavy enough to fall over the mountains. So California becomes a trash can, the whole coastline that sits beyond the mountains becomes a trash can for all the bad air. Same thing across the pond. When the dust blows up, guess what gets mixed with it? It gets dirty. Where does it go? It takes it down low. What's down low? Hurricanes. If you got lots of metal mixed up with it, you have supreme control Atlantic. You can start moving them just like you do hurricanes. The only thing is they don't have quite the energy to make a motor. You can get them to swirl. You can get them to arc. You can get them to rip. But you almost can't get them to make a high-speed orientation like an armature on a motor.
Yeah, I'm looking at it looks like a fire over in California right now. It looks like it's got some thermite explosions going on. We've got it picked up.
Well, you know, everybody was wondering why these fires burned so bad. The firemen were going out and the firefighters going out, and they were coming back saying, I can't believe it. We couldn't put the fire out. It's 2 feet down in the ground. We couldn't get to it. The earth itself was burning. There were cars burning. The engines were just melted out. Only thing that was left on most of them was the frame and some of the body. But everything else on that car was melted. They had people's fences just curled up.
Yes, because it's all
Wrought iron fence, soft iron.
Yeah,
Right.
the cast
Well,
iron
only thing
was.
that can do that is thermite.
Yep. Yeah, we got one heck of a fire north of.
You know, when
I'm not sure where this is at, but it's north of the Paradise area. But man, it looks almost like the Paradise fires.
and when it rains, it comes off these mountainsides, off these hillsides, and follows the drain systems that stand there because, oh, when it rains, and all that just runs down, runs across ground into the grass. And all the grass gets burnt because the trees are clean of termite. And you can't tell me that's not intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes me scared. I don't want to go live in California.
No, I'm looking at about 10.
Here
I'm looking at about 10 fires right now in Northern California. I mean, pretty big ones. And then you got some crazy frequency clouds off the coast there.
Oh, those are weird looking fires right there. We're just showing just past Eureka.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like they exploded.
See how they fan out?
Definitely exploding.
Well, they make that V.
Yeah, yeah.
Start at a point and they spread out and make a V. It ain't like a line fire, you know.
Yeah, where it grows.
A fire starts is just a line of fire that just goes in a direction, and it doesn't grow very much wide. It just grows in intensity as it's going forward. But we don't see that anymore. Every fire we see out here that started during the last 10 years, it turns into a V fire.
Yeah, they're just like out of control, like instantly.
Why is that happening?
All the accelerants being deployed. Yeah, this thing was coming up on the radar just like the Paradise Fires. Same signatures. And then mass explosions.
Well, I guess I have to look up some more of my old stuff, references, and see if we can keep on educating people, huh?
Hey, that'll work. Yeah, you can come on whenever you want, Billy. If you got the time, I got the space here.
Well, maybe we ought to talk to somebody else and let you do a radio show at the same time.
Hey, that'd work. Yeah, I've never got a Elan on here yet. I'd like to get her on here sometime.
I'll work on it for you, okay?
That'll work. But hey, Billy, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this a show. And want to thank you again for coming on and sharing all your knowledge. I mean, this is definitely going to help wake some people up. You know, when we got, somebody that knows as much as you do.
I wanted to talk about a whole bunch more, but you have to understand, real good health, and I'm taking myself to the limit every time right now.
I can tell it in your voice, brother.
I hope everybody can. Not only do I get hoarse, but like last night, I was going to keep awake because they gave me the shot to make me go to sleep, and I was fine then. Tonight, the same nurse, he thinks I'll get excited and have a heart attack.
Well, you just...
Because they doped me up with so much junk here. I'm trying to keep my memory clean. I don't like pain medications. I'm trying to stay off from any extra pills that they try to give me. I deny it.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to get you on.
Actually, I'm getting healthier than I was.
Yeah, staying off it.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, we'll get you on here like...
Well, get with me.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Well, we need to get together and make... Okay, we'll try that.
All right, brother. Will you try to take care of there where you're at?
Adios, amigo.
Want to thanks again. Hey, we'll get all the information out we can, so we'll talk to you again, brother. Just send me a message.
Okie dokie.
Thanks, Billy.
Happy trails, buddy.
Right on.
Happy trails to you. Keep moving on to them. Later, guys.
All right. Hey, thanks, brother. All right, guys. Got to thank Billy out there for sure. Thanks everybody out there in the super chat that helps us. Hopefully we're going to get a website soon. I gotta just get the time to get it going. But yeah, man, we're working on it. We'll keep on working on this stuff. Keep on waking up as many people as we can at a time. Anyway, guys, we're going to have to rise. There will be no other choice. Anyway, guys, much love out there. Crank it up. We'll play a couple songs. I'll come join you in chat for a few minutes, and I'll go over to the D Live and give away the treasure chest. Make sure you guys share this stuff. Subscribe to the Brighton channel. Subscribe to the backup channel. Get all the channels. They're all in the link just in case they stop this information from flowing. Mike, sorry if I blew out an eardrum.